Today I'm going to explain about the second chapter English poem I Remember, I Remember. The author Thomas Hood. All of us know that the first home is the place where we have born. Same like that. Even the author also remembers his first home where he has born in this poem. So he is giving a brief explanation about his journey in a childhood. Thomas Hood, an English poet, journalist, humorist, whose humanitarian verses such as The Song of the Shirt served a model for the whole school of social protest poets, not only in the Britain and in United States, but in Germany and Russia, where he was widely translated. He also notable as a writer of comic verse, having originated several durable forms for that genre. So let me introduce the poem's highlight. I Remember is a poem in which Thomas Hood reflects his sentiments of his child and his childhood. He initially portrays his childhood and the house where he was born. Those beautiful days where the sun rays came into his window. The first stanza I'll read for you. I remember the house where I was born, the little window where the sun came peeping in at morn. He never came a wink too soon, nor bought too long a day. But now I often wish at night had borne my breath away. This stanza explains the poet recalled his childhood bedroom with its little window where the sunlight shone every morning. The second stanza I remember the roses red and white, the violet and the lily cups, those flowers made of light, the lilies where the robin built, and where my brother set the laburnum in his birthday. The tree is living yet. This stanza explains that poet recalls many flowers from his childhood, where his brother did sibling on poet's birthday. Laburnum tree is still standing tall all these years. The third stanza I remember when I was used to swing, and though the air must rush as fresh to swallow on the swing, my spirit flew in feather then. That is so heavy now, and summer cools could hardly cool the fever on my brow. This stanza explains the poet recalls his childhood days where he used to swing, that used to move him through the air in a light and carefree manner. Usually, it is the nature of children to take serious things very lightly. Childhood focus more on fun and playing, and also he says that childhood days gives happiness, happiest moment, and is soulful, which he did as the boy. The last paragraph I remember the fir tree dark and high. I used to think their slender tops were close against the sky. It was a childish ignorance, but now it's little boy to know I am further off from heaven than when I was boy. In this stanza, the poet says that as he grows up to be an adult, he recalls the tall fir tree nearly touching heaven at their top. But he knows that the tree is not touching the sky, but it is he who is missing his childhood days. Ignorance. All this happens when the poet was a boy. Thank you. I remember the fir trees, dark and high. I used to think their slender top were close against the sky. It was a childish ignorance, but now it's little joy to know I am farther off from heaven than when I was a boy. This stanza explains. The poet says that as he grows up to be an adult, he recalls the tall fir tree nearly touching heaven at their top, but he knows that the tree is not touching the sky, but it is he who is missing his childhood days. Ignorance, all this happens when I was a boy.